Hello. I just woke up and my daughter is dead. There's blood everywhere. I don't... Okay.
All right. So on this video, I wanted to review the documentary that was uploaded by the Columbus Dispatch on, I believe, the same day, maybe the day later. It might have been the subsequent day. Let me double check to make sure. I left the link in the community section, and I also left a link on my other channel in the community section and on the video. Okay. This is where my mind is this week. I want to focus on the changes that's going on in the media. It looks like, at least in Ohio, and I wish this was all around the country. It should be all around the country. Like I said, every state needs to do this. Make your own documentary that contains reports from your state and make it a plea to your state. I believe doing this on a state-by-state basis might be more effective, or I don't really know. This is why we have this community here. I know for a fact that other people know more about laws and everything. Animal Control seems to know a lot about the laws. But this is a good first step, if you ask me, because they essentially spammed dog culture, videos that are critical of this element of dog culture. These ridiculous, outlandish laws. These laws are so ridiculous. They're hard to believe. As you heard in the broadcast that they uploaded, the 18-minute broadcast, you heard the lady say that these laws are hard to believe. That when you first hear them, you're like, huh? You must be mistaken. That can't be what the laws actually are. Yes, it is. So I had to restrict it by age because there was some little graphic. No. Yeah, I had to age restrict the video. And when I do that with these videos, the views are always lower, and they grow slower. But this might be also a topic that a lot of people are not interested in. But I left a link to the documentary right here. I pinned it. Shout out to Ashar for bringing that to my attention. When y'all see stuff like this, go ahead and leave a link or something in the comment section, because I don't have much time to do, research, things like that. I'm working way too much. Shout out to the members and everybody, because Monday I basically worked 13 hours Monday, 13 and a half hours Monday. And then just last night I had to work another 12. So I'm getting caught up on sleep. And I don't like to come home and not at least go live with the members. So we'll get caught up here real soon. But I want to review this documentary. I don't know about y'all, but this is a good look. This is a good look. It seemed like an honest effort on their part. It really does. And I'm not worried about whether or not we had any influence in this, because I think it's impossible for us not to have had influence, at least on the Columbus Dispatch and some of the media here in Ohio. I think it's irrefutable. Dog Free, for example, has been referenced to in the mainstream far too many times. There are more video responses, like video reactions to Dog Free, if I'm not mistaken, than any other platform critical of dog culture here on YouTube. So that works for me. All right. Now, I like how they put this together. You see how at the beginning, they basically wanted to tap into your emotions, as they should, highlighting the fact that we're degrading ourselves and putting no value in our life, putting more value in the life of the dogs.
When the kid isn't moving, if dog's moving, don't know a dog is.
36589, go ahead and 103.
Now, we all remember this. This documentary involves stories that we all went over, that I went over on this channel. So, hopefully they hear us, man. I want them to know that there's a community of people, a fairly large community of people, dead set, knee deep into this. And you know what else I noticed? This documentary has been sort of dumbed down. They had to dumb it down for TV because it didn't involve any attacks on newborns. And newborns are always attacked. Toddlers, they didn't show any attacks, deal with any attacks on toddlers. Let's say between or 7 and under. They didn't deal with the really, really young victims who make up a huge percentage of dog attack victims. In fact, as we all know, the age demographic most often that's usually attacked between age 5 and 9. They did not deal with dog attack victims as young as 5 years old. You see, because that would have been harder to watch. It would have been even more graphic. I think they looked at it as too hot for YouTube and didn't go that deep. But just understand, as bad as this documentary was, the truth is a lot worse and a lot more gruesome.
BK, watch out! Watch out!
Now, I don't know how many of y'all saw that, but that man was getting scalped. That flesh that Mutt had in his mouth, that man was getting scalped.
Son,
Okay, so good job on the beginning. I like that. Then they dive right into a very recent story. Very recent story about what happened in Columbus, Ohio with the little girl.
Roughly 17,000 dog bites are reported across Ohio each year, a gross undercount of what's really happening. Some attacks are so severe.
Good job. She said a gross undercount of what's happening. A lot of things to point out here.
Some attacks are so severe that victims suffer life-altering injuries, amputations, disfigurement, and psychological trauma.
The sad music in the background, thank you very much. That music should be only used for us. When you're trying to garner sympathy for human beings, thank you. Lord, now this feels like a normal world, finally.
Children account for 45% of the victims, and they are overrepresented in fatalities.
Overrepresented in fatalities, and she said they make up 45% of the victims. Understand, that varies. Some years they make up more than half. Some years a little less than half, but they always make up a significant portion of attack victims.
Victims face years of surgeries and PTSD, and they rack up huge medical bills.
You got a whole leg missing.
And some people don't survive.
I'm Bill Rogers, and my mom was...
Okay, and they get into some stories. Again, good job. That's what they needed to put in a documentary like this. The people talking about it, showing what they go through. Okay? We all remember this attack in Asheville went viral. And then this was the case where they found out the dog had cocaine in its system. I mean, wow. I can't believe we let this problem go on this long. To the point where these mutts are launching attacks with cocaine in their system. They getting zooted up. And like I said, this ain't the first time. Some of you went and actually looked up those stories. And there are several of them. Okay? Y'all, hopefully y'all remember this story. That man got messed up bad. And in some of these stories, I think we're seeing images of the victims for the first time. And I think that applies to this man right here.
I've been around this dog 50 to 80 times probably. At first, it didn't really show no aggression to me.
Look. Listen, I don't want hands like this. I don't want 3 fingers on one hand and 4 fingers on the other. I ain't trying to be grabbing nothing with nubs. So if you don't control your dog and it come after me, I'm not using no fly swatter, no dustpan, no plastic water bottle to fight it off. Okay, your mutt come at me, it's gonna come back to you maybe faster than it came at me. We're to that point where everyday citizens have to resort to dangerous measures just to protect themselves and their family. I don't want to do that. But I'm saying I will do that to prevent stuff like this from happening to me. But again, I don't want to do that. I could end up hitting myself or somebody else.
But then after they started attacking everybody, I started to get wary of it.
This man done lost his ear, probably lost the other ear. Half his nose is gone.
Try to keep my distance from it. She said that she did get paid that day and she haven't had a...
Okay. I am not trying to end up like this. And this is why I get so upset when dog advocates reference to fatalities. When they're trying to defend dogs. And they'll say, oh, there are not that many people who are fatally injured. Okay. What about these people? They act like if you end up like this, it's no big deal. No, get out of here.
But it got me again and it pulled me down.
And what? His eye all messed up?
I don't even answer. It just
Did you hear that? I'm sorry. Listen to what, did you hear what he just said?
Sounds of keys going.
He said sounds of keys will trigger reactions. He's still traumatized.
And then after that, pretty much it was just black. Like I said, I don't go outside until it's dark time. Any sounds of dogs, like, just trigger it. Sounds of keys going, metal clashing, for some reason the chains. I mean, there's been times people comes to my house and knocks on the door and I don't even answer.
Friends will come to his door, knock on the door, and he don't even answer because he's traumatized. This is a grown man. It's unacceptable to have anybody go through something like this, but especially young people. Imagine how traumatized young people are. If this man is this traumatized, he's supposed to be the bravest people in society, and he gets scared when he hear the sound of keys clanking together.
It's just
ridiculous. So a good portion of this documentary is listening to the victims. Good. This is what we need. Y'all need to focus on this. You see what the problem is? They've been only having sympathy for dogs and not people.
Flat tire that I couldn't fix. So 4.5 miles into the ride, I decided to just go back to my car. 3 miles into my return walk to the car, so I was probably about a mile and a quarter from the car, I was attacked by 3 dogs, 3 pit bulls, and they came out of a house that the owners were away. They just attacked me in a way that I tripped, and they were tearing up my legs, both of them, but dragged me into a field, and that went on, seems like forever, but I can estimate maybe 20-25 minutes, fighting for my life. The left leg, they kind of tore it to pieces, and I made a decision while it was happening. In order to save the rest of me, I just had to let them have the leg. Eventually...
Let them have the leg. Yeah, I don't want to be in a situation like that. I mean, just the possibility of people being in this type of danger should send the whole country, and it should be outraged. Why don't we take this seriously? It's past time to take dogs seriously. As far as, attacks on people, this should have happened a long time ago. We never should even got to this point. It's sad that we need documentaries to try to persuade people to look at this in a different way. Now, we're starting at ground zero with the laws being changed after the attacks have happened. So y'all know I don't like doing this because it's still reactionary response. It's not being proactive. But things are so bad now with dog culture that this will actually make a significant change. With the laws being that the thing could actually delete someone and not be euthanized, you crazy? 2 free deletions.
My aunt was going to let the dogs out of a room, and I was standing by the door, and they both went outside, and then one came back in.
And a dog is in the background barking. You see how irresponsible this mother is? This is what I'm talking about. No, dogs should not be around at all. At all. I don't care if it's small after an attack like this. You should know better.
And then I pet it on its back, and and it went back out, and then I went out like close to the door, and then he bit me.
Okay, you heard her say she patted on the back. Attacked her after she showed affection to it. Why would you want something like this? Okay, so stop with the ASPCA ads. Stop trying to get us to feel sympathy for dogs. Get out of here. We got to change the way we look at these things.
It's okay.
What I remember, so like my
Now, she's the victim that they used for the cover or the thumbnail for the video. But I want y'all to hear what the mother said. I got to respond to these statements by the mother.
Everything was exposed
Well,
for her to pull up and
for her going the dog's name, but his name just bit me.
her to pull up and I was waiting for her to pull up, and I see the Indian Hill Madeira ambulance pull up, and my sister had jumped out and she was covered head to toe in blood.
wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay, yeah, we all good.
And then Ariel got pulled out on the stretcher. And that's when I saw her whole right side jawline complete. I saw her teeth, her jawbone, everything was exposed. And she was covered in blood head to toe. I was not expecting it to be that severe.
There you go.
There was a point.
That got to stop. I wasn't expecting it to be that severe. As soon as you hear someone's been attacked by a dog, everybody should automatically expect to see something like that. You should at least know that it's possible. They keep the general public in the dark so much that these people think that when they see a dog attack victim, they're going to see two little tiny puncture holes. These things shred flesh.
Point where obviously parents can't cross a line before they go into the OR, and Ariel I was holding her, and she didn't want me to leave. So the scrub nurse got up into the stretcher with her.
Wait, that's not what I want y'all to hear some of these statements she said about how her daughter feels about dogs now.
But that ER team was phenomenal.
Is that her?
To
Oh
keep
no,
the-
it's the next lady. Y'all know what I'm looking for. This lady. Oh, she had a mouthful. You can't, wait a minute.
Game plan, and
Yeah, brace yourselves. Brace yourselves.
to that.
Got you, buddy. We got you.
I could have never fathomed that call would lead to that.
Here's another one. She said the same thing the previous lady just said. We have heard this several times, that I heard such and such was attacked by a dog. I never imagined that they would look as bad as they look. Why didn't you imagine? That's the problem. You're not even aware of how dangerous they are.
Fully in shock.
Got you, buddy. We got you.
I was full. My reaction was like,
Oh, sorry about that.
oh my God, that's not my child. Like, I was flipped. I saw Avery, and my reaction was like, oh my God, that's not my child. Like, I was fully in shock.
Got you, buddy. We got you.
I could have never fathomed that call would lead to that. But she still has moments where I can tell she looks in the mirror, or she literally will come to me and she goes, Mommy, how long do I have to look like this?
How long do I have to look like this? That's an important point. Because a lot of these young people, they don't understand. They get mutilated and they think that after a while, they're just going to go back to looking the same way they looked before the attack. right? True or not? They don't know. Many of them don't know. They don't know that the more, you can be permanently mutilated and never look the same again. Everybody should be aware that this could happen. Nobody wants to be defaced, okay?
In shock. I could have never fathomed. But she looked new to deserve this. Why did this have to happen to me? What did I do to deserve this? I just don't understand. And as a mom, it makes you feel helpless. We have to face this. I can't allow her to run away every time she sees a dog.
Why not?
They're a part of the world. They're a part of society. And
who cares? There are plenty of things that are a part of the world that you need to stay away from. Cliffs are a part of society. Why don't you go jump off a 30-story building? Sadly, she's not the only one who thinks like this. It's a huge problem. Y'all's delusion. Thinking that dogs, like we're supposed to always be willing to be around them. What's with y'all with that? How is that going to hurt her to stay away from dogs? You don't think it's a good idea to stay away from them? You tell her to stay away from anything else that did this to her. But you're fighting desperately for her to be around them again. Cannot make this up. That mindset, see, people have been brainwashed. This is the problem. They've been brainwashed. That's why I spend so much time talking about how they're thinking, their mindset. That is insane. That's an insane thing to say. I don't want her to avoid the thing that almost killed her, permanently mutilated her. What? Make sense out of that for me. They're part of society. Who cares? Jeffrey Dahmers are part of society. Serial killers are a part of society. You want to let them babysit your kids?
Allow her to run away every time she sees a dog. They're a part of the world. They're a part of society, and they're everywhere. And if I let you run away every time you see one, you're never, ever going to be able to get over this. You're always going to have this fear.
You're always going to have this fear. That's a good thing, lady. What are you talking about? That's exactly what you need. That's what they all need. Avoid these things your entire life. That didn't make no sense, ma'am. I'm sorry. What you said didn't make no sense. Listen to yourself. Why would you want your kid to keep going around these things? What if it happens again? How are you going to reflect on these statements you've made? What if it happens again? You're going to turn right back around and tell, oh, just keep going around them if you see them. No. Your daughter wants to go over your friend's house. You want your daughter to ask if there are dogs over there. And if there are, tell her friends, I'm not coming over there. That's exactly what you want. Hate to break it to you like this, but that's the world we live in. You see how much of a tragedy this situation was. Guess what? That's the world we live in. And the only way to counter that is to stay away from them.
A dog. They're a part of the world. They're a part of society, and they're everywhere. And if I let you run away every time you see one, you're never, ever going to be able to get over this. You're always going to have this fear. That's not fair to you. It makes me feel like every time we run away and we cower, they win.
Said every time we run away and cower, they win. They who? The dogs win? You see how this is nothing but her feelings and emotion? Oh, I think it's wrong to avoid something deadly. Listen to yourself.
We run away and we cower, they win. And I'm not having that. These dogs.
No, this is insane. I'm pleading to you, ma'am, to re-examine these statements that you made. These were the worst statements in the entire documentary. You're talking about some moral victory? Every time we avoid dogs, they win. No, you win. Your daughter wins by staying away from these things.
We run away and we cower, they win. And I'm not having that. These dogs have never been reported as vicious. They can't label them as such. And I just think that, excuse my language, that's a crock of shit.
So I tell people, if you hear...
Oh, Lord. Why is it so hard for people to just say dogs shouldn't be around? Yeah, they're everywhere. They shouldn't be. They shouldn't be. Nothing in society is as dangerous as dogs. If anything else was, we'd remove them from society. So this marketing campaign or strategy to get people to view dogs as family members, as deities, it has been successful. Seems to me she's trying hard to not offend dogs or dog lovers. Stop it. Stop it. Dogs are unacceptable. It's okay to reject them. They're dogs. They're not Jesus's. They're not your God. Snap out of it. Let's continue. Wow.
Crock of shit.
So I tell people, if you hear of any dog attacks, you have to report it, even if it's minor.
Now, that point that she made, here, let me touch on that real quick.
They win. And I'm not having that. These dogs have never been reported as vicious. They can't label them as such. And I just think that, excuse my language, that's a crock of shit.
So I tell people, if you hear of any dog attacks.
Yeah, so that's good. They're focusing on the laws. These laws are crazy. But look at how much of a baby step this is. Let's say that the laws are changed in line with what's being requested on this documentary. The only thing would change is that, the dogs would be euthanized after the first deletion. And they still have a free deletion. And look at how hard we have to fight just to get laws to change that much. And I bet you it won't happen.
You have to report it, even if it's minor, because next time it could be deadly.
Always report it. Always report it. Even if you don't want to go through the designation or the criminal charges. At least have it on file.
I get it.
File and report it so somebody can do an investigation. I don't know how many times we go out on an incident. What happened 4 times before, 3 times, whatever it was. Okay, well, we've never been reported. We've never had a report. Why aren't you guys doing anything? Because it's never been reported to us.
Okay, listen. People shouldn't have to report these things. We're not stupid. They're all a threat. All of them. They should be labeled as dangerous right out the womb. I don't care if they've never attacked anyone. They should be labeled as dangerous. We do it with everything else. If something is dangerous, we put danger. We don't know which dogs are going to attack next. So we have to look at all of them as a threat. These laws don't even make no sense. This is crazy.
I think that we should definitely look at the laws that we have and take a serious look at them to see what we can do to make them better, clear them up.
Dude, it's not rocket science. It's not that difficult. Euthanasia after the first attack. See, what they're pushing is euthanasia after the first fatality. No. It should be after the first attempt, even if it's an attempted attack, the first display of aggression. See, and I don't even co-sign this. I want them all removed. But if y'all going to change the laws in line with what we're talking about here, it need to at least be euthanasia after the first severe attack. Not even severe, man. I don't care. Or at least after the first deletion. But saying that, I can't co-sign that either. They shouldn't have a free deletion. We all know they're dangerous. Just get rid of them. They're worthless. They are worthless, and I'm not sorry. The only thing they provide to human society is a threat. With dogs in our community, now we have to worry about unprovoked mutilations. We have to worry about a lethal threat. That's insane.
And then, yeah, definitely look at the penalties to clear some of them up too, and maybe make some of them stiffer if we can. I think the owners should be responsible for their pets. They are personal property in the state of Ohio, so let's hold them accountable accordingly.
It's a very
sad. It's sad. It's almost like Twilight Zone, seeing grown men talk like this. Why aren't these are grown men? These things need to be gotten out of our communities. I mean, at least speak against fighting dogs, the bull breeds, the ones that were bred to do this and have an even stronger instinct to attack unprovoked and to never stop the attack, to never cease attack. We just watched these on this documentary and we've seen several of them. By the time the cops shows up, the attack is still underway. We don't even get that. So again, we're talking about minor changes that they're pleading for.
The state of Ohio, so let's hold them accountable accordingly.
It's a very difficult thing for a prosecutor when a dog kills a human being, and it really shouldn't be that way. If the dog has shown violent tendencies, in this case numerous times over the course of well over a year, the owners themselves have responsibility with that dog, and they have prior knowledge, and they know what those dogs can do. If the dog has aggressive behavior and it carries out an attack under the law, if that's the first
listen to him. They know what the dog can do. All dogs can do that. It's not just specific dogs. Oh, there's some that are just dangerous. They all got the capabilities. We act on other threats, the capability of other threats. Need to do the same thing with dogs. I mean, what is wrong with people? What's wrong with these lawmakers? They don't have even simple laws. Like if you have a dog over 50 pounds, over 40, 50 pounds, and you're outside, it has to have a muzzle on it, regardless of the breed. You got a large dog, you better have a muzzle on it whenever you take it outside. They won't even have simple laws like that. They're too far out of control.
The dog's been involved in this, you essentially get a slap on the hand.
Yeah, you get a slap on the hand.
That doesn't, I can't even wrap my head around that. That doesn't even, that doesn't make sense. So they kill one, you're going to give them opportunity to do it again. So that means that we are protecting animal lives more than we are human.
Yes. You see? That is a statement that dozens of people have made in this sector. And yes, you're absolutely right. The dog's life is more valuable in the eyes of the law. That's what this is saying.
Again. So that means that we are protecting animal lives more than we are human.
It just is nonsensical that really strong, serious felonies are so difficult to make out in a case like that.
You want to see people held accountable for things that they should have done? I mean, there's answers, accountability. You know, if in some way my mother's death can be good, make change in this area, that's what I'd like to see.
Because I do get accidents happen, but people should also be held accountable.
Attacks are not accidents. These attacks are not accidents. What's the accident? The dog's not doing it accidentally. There's no accident. This is nothing but recklessness. Reckless, psychotic behavior. Bringing lethal predators, brainless doofus, bloodthirsty, lethal predators in the home. That ain't no accident. Nothing that leads up to the actual attacks is accidental. That's the problem. We are consciously, deliberately, y'all are causing these accidents. What? Listen to me calling an accident. These attacks. It's like they're under control, mind control, and not aware of what they're actually doing. Y'all, the dog owners, ma'am, you still got a dog in the house. Did you accidentally bring that dog in the house? You just created the environment for attacks like this to happen, just like what happened with her daughter. Did you accidentally go to the shelter and acquire that dog? No, nothing is accidental. So we're saying stop doing these things. Nothing about it accidental.
There has to be a change. The fact that a dog had more rights than my child is not okay.
Yes, and we've been saying that for years. Ain't this crazy? How a documentary like this is just now surfaced? Lord. Now you watch. The Columbus Dispatch, they're going to be, looked at as sort of like a rogue, off-code media outlet. No, the dog-loving media outlets, they're not going to appreciate this.
I want answers. I want accountability for everyone that was reckless in the situation. And, I want my mom's death to mean something. I want it to help the community so that this doesn't happen to somebody else. This can never happen again. This is the most horrific thing that a person could go through, especially such a beautiful, wonderful person as my mom. She should have never had to die in such a manner that she did.
Okay. The only way for that to happen is to get rid of them. That stood out the most to me in this documentary. How reluctant people are to question the mere presence of these things. Extremely reluctant. Literally refuse, when we would do that with anything else. That would be the first thing we suggest. Get rid of them. Just like they do when toys become dangerous, they clear the shelves. But with dogs, no. They deserve. No, they don't deserve nothing. Now you watch. Society will move on. They're going to continue to make small, minor changes that they'll probably overturn a year or two from now. They're going to try to sweep the dog problem under the rug like they always have been doing up to this point. So make more. Not just Ohio, every state in the country. Make more. There obviously will not be a nationwide message or effort. Do it on a state by state level. My goodness. There should be more views on this channel. This is the actual video or the actual documentary. And the views should not primarily be from us. They need to do more to, to promote this documentary. Hopefully they come up with something. Devastating, powerful should be banned. Shar said this unhealthy obsession society has with dogs is beyond disturbing. These things aren't your family. In believing so, you have fallen for a marketing strategy that's costing lives, that has costed several lives and will continue to cost lives. A marketing strategy. Like I said, it starts with how we look at them, how we view them, how we perceive them. You get people to look at these things as family members, it's a wrap. So hopefully, very soon, this thing will get a bunch of views. I want millions. We need millions. This thing needs to go viral. And I don't know. It just seems like such a concentrated effort to ignore dog culture. All across the country. Here in the United States, it's bad. And that needs to stop. These are not our families. And listen, if you say that dogs are not family, they're not our family, don't you also have to question this idea that they are man's best friend as well? Yeah. The fact that they're not family, that don't exist in a vacuum. Now we got to question everything. Oh, yes. I'm going to pick up on that probably this weekend in a subsequent live stream. If you get through to people to make them understand this idea of dogs are family, that's a dangerous marketing strategy. If you get people to admit to that, there's no reason to stop there. And if they're not our best friend, if they're actually our worst enemy, our biggest threat, we need to treat them as such. Let's not just acknowledge how dangerous and brainless and bloodthirsty they are. We have to act on it. Shout out to all of you able to join me for this live stream. And I hope you can join me on the next as we continue with this crusade.